The most important 5 seconds in the entire album may be the empty space after the last track on side 1. The music stops and suddenly the listener becomes part of the arrangement. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Dave's Side 1. I'm Dave, your host, over here at Art of Listening Records, where every record has a story. And sometimes the most interesting part of that story happens in the silence between sides. Today we're talking about the album Flip. Not side 1 by itself, not side 2 by itself. The moment where one ends and the other has to begin. And the best flip I can think of is the one on the Beatles album Abbey Road. On streaming, one track ends and the next one starts. Maybe there's half a second, maybe there's a crossfade, maybe nothing at all. A record asks more from you. Side 1 ends, you get up, you turn the record over, you put the needle back down, and that takes time, and time creates expectation. A great album flip starts before the flip. Side 1 has to end somewhere meaningful. With Abbey Road, side 1 closes with I Want You, She's So Heavy. That is not a casual ending. It feels heavy. It's persistent, almost consuming, and then it stops. Now comes the part we usually rush past. Nothing. That nothing matters because the side has ended, but the album has not. The pause creates suspense. It creates reset. It creates a little breathing room. And it gives the next track a clean slate. And here's the part that makes vinyl different. The listener has to do something. I don't just wait, I participate. I turn side 1 into side 2. That physical act reinforces the structure. There was a first half. Now there's a second half. Then side 2 begins with Here Comes the Sun. And that contrast is enormous. We just left something heavy, dark and dense. Then we flip the record and suddenly the atmosphere changes. Light, clarity, space. It feels like we woke up somewhere else. And that's what a great flip can do. It can change how we feel about both sides. Side 1 feels heavier because of what comes next. Side 2 feels brighter because of what came before. The two sides start defining each other. That's bigger than two songs sitting beside one another. That's structure. Now here's the interesting question. If I hear those tracks digitally, one right after the other, is it the same? The recordings are the same, the order is the same, but the experience isn't exactly the same because that physical pause is gone. The act is gone, the reset is gone, the chapter break gets smaller. That doesn't make digital listening wrong, it just means the medium changes the experience. So on today's side 1 test, I introduce the flip test. Does side 1 end with purpose? Does the closer actually feel like an ending? Does the pause add something? Does the silence create anticipation? Does side 2 reopen strongly? Does the first track on side 2 feel like a deliberate restart? Does the contrast change the experience? Does one side make the other more powerful? That's the flip test. And no, every great album doesn't need a dramatic side 1 to side 2 contrast. Sometimes continuity is the right choice. Sometimes side 2 should feel like side 1 never really stopped. The point isn't make the flip shocking. The point is make that flip belong. So here's my verdict. For me, Abbey Road is one of the great album flips. Not because the two songs are similar, because they aren't. The ending, the silence, the physical turn, and the reopening all work together. The flip doesn't interrupt Abbey Road. It reveals how the album is built. So on today's Side 1 Spin, I ask you, what album has the greatest flip for you? Come back and tell me the Side 1 closer, the Side 2 opener, tell me the artist, tell me the album, and tell me why those two sides belong on opposite sides of the same piece of vinyl. Tomorrow, we're looking for a side with absolutely nowhere to hide, where there's no weak track. Well, that's it for today's Side 1. Thanks again for spending a little time with me, and please keep that needle in the groove all the way to the end of the side and enjoy that flip. We will talk to you tomorrow.